This episode sponsored by Lake Monster Details, producing the Don's Light and Magic Legacy line of parts, offering upgrade parts and decals for accuracy, special effects, and lighting. Visit www.lakemonsterdetails.com and make it glow. Also sponsored by GCals, producing aftermarket replacement decals and custom quality graphics for your favorite spaceships. Visit www.gcals.company.site and add some personalization to your sci-fi models today.
What's up, fellow modelers? Will here. Welcome to the Ensign's Chair. So, I know it's been a while since I've talked to you guys. There's been a whole lot going on. As many of you know, I've moved back to Virginia, but unfortunately my work is still back west. So, I'm spending time between here and the Denver area right now. So, I'm basically only getting about a week a month to work on my models, which really sucks right now. But hopefully we'll get that changed here in the not too distant future, maybe after the first of the year, before I can get back on a regular schedule working on stuff and getting this information out to you guys that are interested in seeing it. So basically this video, because of my time constraints, I was doing my little bird, my 1/350 bird of prey, and I was doing my big bird, which is my, my 3D print that I've been working on. And I've decided to kind of focus my attention right now on the larger 3D print, because I kind of want to have this done for Wonderfest next year. So I want to make sure that I'm getting ample time to work on this and get it together. And there's some other things that have kind of thrown me some curveballs as far as getting this together. So I'm not as far along on this project as I would like to be, but I'm going to get there. So stick with me and give me a bit of time and we'll get things straight. Like I mentioned before, I'm working on right now trying to find an idea shed that I would like to use and convert into, have it brought here to my house in Virginia and convert it into my build studio. So that way I've got an area where it's nothing but my models I'm working on out there, whereas right now I'm kind of sharing this room with the cats and you know, whoever comes in here and decides they want to dig through stuff to, you know, use my supplies for their own use. But anyway, so I've got a little bit of an update. There's some things that I've worked on with the bird of prey that I kind of want to share with the group that's doing this model on Facebook. There's some things, I've got some files that I've edited that if anybody's interested in them, contact me, let me know. I'm more than happy to share this stuff with anybody. You know, you've already bought the model. I'm happy to share the modified files with you. I've got a couple things I've modified to make it a little easier to light this model. So give me a minute. I'll put you on the bench. We'll get to work. All right, so why am I not further along on this build than what I am? So I'd mentioned, you know, other than the move and my current work situation, I've run into this issue with, I talked a little bit about the Stellar Effects lighting kit last time. And when I started looking at trying to work out the lighting, one of the issues I ran into is I noticed this board. Let's see if I can get it out here. This is the control board. The other one is the sound board. And the issue that I've run into, now I've got all this stuff sitting on my paperwork here, is that this board does not match up to the board layout in the instructions for the bird of prey. So I sent Paul Jasmine a message and I told him, hey, the instructions for the board layout don't match the layout for the board I was sent. Haven't heard anything back. That's been over a month ago, maybe even 2 months ago. Haven't heard nothing back, and I started doing some more looking, and I started looking at some of the other boards on the page and realized that this board, which says which is labeled Jazz 3.0, the only board that matches that is the one for the JJ Prize. He's got two different configurations for this JJ Prize, but in both configurations it uses this Jazz 3.0 board. And when I hook this up, I get the strobe and all that. So apparently this board is for the JJ Prize. The unfortunate thing is the JJ Prize is the one model I had no intentions of building because I'm just not a big fan of it. I know there's people out there that love the design. I'm not a big fan of it, so I had no intentions of building the JJ Prize model ever. And I still don't. So this board really just does me no good. I've tried to reach out to Paul Jasmine 2 or 3 more times. I think I sent a message to his personal Facebook. I sent a message to his to the Facebook page for Stellar Effects. I've sent a message through the Stellar Effects webpage, and I've gotten no response from him. So I don't know what to do. I mean, this board really does me no good. So I guess I'm gonna have to look at another option since I can't get a response from him. I know there's people that have had great things to say about his work and his boards, but personally at this point, I mean, there's not really a whole lot good I can say about it. It's the wrong board, and it does me no good for this build. So I've kind of been looking around at some different boards. I really want something with sound, so that kind of rules out using the same board that I'm using for my 1350 bird of prey, because that one does not have sound. That one, which is from Madman Lighting, aka Tenna Controls. So I've started looking around. I've looked at a couple different boards. I can't remember the name of the one I'm looking at that I'm really considering right now. But there's another board out there that's got sound effects. It's a little more pricey than this board. It's like 150 bucks. So somebody will probably know which board I'm talking about and which manufacturer. I can't recall the name at the top right now off the top of my head. But that's probably what I'm going to end up going with. But I'm really disappointed that the Stellar Effects, I'm having the issues that I'm having with it. So if anybody has any contact with Paul Jasmine, please let him know. Put me in touch with him. I'd like to get this worked out. But like I said, it's been a little bit now that I've been trying to work this out, and no resolution thus far. So that's kind of what's put me in a little bit of a holding pattern too. But I've decided that it really doesn't matter which board I go with. The wiring is pretty much going to be the same for the parts, except for my photon launcher in the front might be different as far as how the lights are set up for that. So that aside, I've started working out the lighting and wiring on my cannons on the wings. And one thing I did was I went and the problem with this is that the print model, the way it comes, does not give you any way to run the wiring without trenching it or doing something else as it comes. So what I did was I actually uploaded this part, the wingtip and the cannons. Uploaded both of these into Tinkercad, and basically I made it to where there's now a hole down the tube of the cannon, so I can run my lighting and it'll come out this end here. And I also put, I guess you'd call it kind of a Jeffries tube. It's a tube that runs from the top of the wing here and comes out right here, this hole here. See if I can focus this a little bit. But there's a little hole right here, and that's where that wire runs out, and it comes out, and that way I am able to now wire up my cannons without the wires being exposed. So, and it makes it a lot easier. So that's one thing I do like about the 3D print models, is once you get the files for it, if you want to make some changes to it, you can. And I've already got this one wired up, so let's take a look at it real quick. I've got a green SMD in the tip of the canyon here. And there we go. You can see it. It's lit up. It's going to light up nice. Get a little bit of a pulsing effect there. So that's going to work out great. Those of you that have done this model may have noticed I also made an additional change. The model, the way it comes, it's missing this guard. There's kind of this guard on the inside of the canyon. The body of the bird of prey will be on this side. So this would be the inside of the canyon. There's this little guard that comes out. Well, on the print as it comes, you can see that that piece is missing. It doesn't come with that guard on it. So what I did again was I put the file in Tinkercad and put a guard on here, and it turned out pretty well. Prints up pretty nice. It's pretty close to screen accurate. Close enough for me anyway. So I've got that going. I think that looks pretty good. I've got these ones here. I'm considering putting a hollow tube down these as well, although I'm not really worried about lighting them up. I just like the depth effect that it gives it, because right now you can see the inside of the barrel, which I can correct that by just painting it black on the inside. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm not planning on lighting these up, although some people may want to. It'd be real easy to put a hollow barrel down that as well, and then your wires would just come out the end here. And the great thing about it, these wires run over, this piece is hollow, so it'll cover up those wires. Get this into position. So this will fit on and just cover those wires up. You'd never know they were there. So that should work out pretty well. This piece goes on this side. I've still got to hide these wires here, but you can see how that's starting to look. So I'm real pleased with the way that's turning out. You may notice that there's two different, these are two different colors. The reason for that is I was using Tech Fast, and that's what this color is here. It's a little pricey, and I wanted to try something different. So I got the Anycubic Basic, and I'm not happy with it. I'm going to go back to the Tech. I think, yeah, I never had any issues with misprints or deformations or that weren't my own fault as a result of not using correct supports or you know, other things along that, things that were my fault that I didn't do. But since I've started using this Anycubic Basic, I've just had so many problems. Even with correct supports, you can see if I can focus here. You can kind of see it already, but you can see kind of that deformation there on that guard where it didn't print properly. I've had to reprint this part so many times because this part would deform on the front here, partially because of probably my support setup, but I used the same support setup for this that I used with the Tech Fast when I printed these once before. I never had any deformation issues with the Tech until I started using the Anycubic. I had to completely change my support setup in order to get this to print properly. So it's just, I just seem to be having too many issues with the Anycubic. So I'm gonna go back to the Tech and start printing that. Let me refocus here. Other than that, I've started working on the lighting for the bridge section here that I've had done for a while. Now what I've done is I've decided to go with warm white for my external lights. For the spotlights on the wings, I don't know if I'm going to stick with warm white or if I'm going to do a bright white for that. But right now I'm thinking I'm probably going to stick with warm white all around. Just to me, when I watch the movie, it's more of a warm white light than it is a bright white. And let's see if I can get this wired up here. What I've done is I have put, there we go. Let's see if I can pick this up and move it around so it's not blinding the camera. And you can see how that's going to light up. And it's actually a little brighter on camera than what it is in person. So lights have a tendency to do that. But what I've done is I've started using, I've done some testing with some different resistor levels. And for my external lights, I've settled on using a 2.2 thousand or a 2200K resistor, ohm resistor. And that's just to dim the light some so it's not overly bright. These lights aren't meant to spotlight anything. These are kind of running lights. They're steady on, they don't flash, so I don't have to worry about a flasher board for that. But so that's what I decided to go with, a 2200K resistor, ohm K resistor for my external running lights. And I've done the same thing for the underside of the main hull, where you've got that red light that comes out these ports here. Now, one thing I've done different, and of course my bulb's going to fall out after I've done fished it up in here. Let's see if all right, sorry about that, guys. A little technical difficulty. So I've got this light back in here, but so with this kit, I'm going to talk more about this assembly here in a minute. But what I want to talk about is this light I'm working on for these two little portals, depressions, whatever you want to refer to them as, right here, where you got these red lights that shine out. So again, I went with a 2200 ohm, 2200K ohm resistor, just to kind of dial it down a little bit. But the other thing I did too was with the kit, you basically get this part. Let me change my zoom, and my sunlight wants to change on me here, so sorry if the picture gets a little dark, or maybe too much. All right, so you get this little piece right here that fits in to this hole here on the inside, and basically it's got room and opening for a 3mm LED to fit through. But I don't just want the 3mm LED to poke through there. So what I did was I went into Tinkercad and I made these little lenses, and these lenses slip right over top of that, and I just think it gives it a better look than just having that 3mm LED poking through there. So what I've done was I kind of set this one up, and my light bulb, my LED fell out on me while I was trying to show you. So let me see if I can get this lit up. Get my battery set up here. This ground wire doesn't like to, there we go. Let me focus here. All right, so you can kind of see that light. Let me see if I can close these blinds now that the sun's come back out. Make it a little bit darker in here. And maybe we'll cut this light off. All right. So you can kind of see that effect that it gives that with that lens there. You don't get that strong pinpoint of light. Although you may get a little bit on the camera, that's not the way it looks in person. So I like the way that's going to look. I think that lens being there adds just a little bit of detail to it. It makes it look a little more authentic. So that's my plan for that. And that's pretty much it as far as the lighting. It's all worked out. I've still got to figure out, like I said, depending on which lighting kit I go with, how I'm going to light the photon launcher. And let's see if I can get some light. Yeah, not a whole lot. You can see some of it coming through there. But basically what I did with this part was I taped off the front, and I filled in the back with my micro crystal clear, and let that dry up, and you can kind of see through that. I don't know if it shows up too well on camera. Hopefully you can make it out. That red ring around there. It's going to light up real nice once I get a red light behind it. So that's what I'm working on with that, just to give you guys kind of an idea of what I'm looking at working on this. Now, this plate, let me open my blinds back up so I can get a little more light in here again. Maybe I need to get remote control blinds. I'm going to have to keep getting up for this. I am still working on looking at some different sheds, which is going to become my new build studio. But I haven't settled on one yet, and I've got some work I've got to do as far as a concrete pad out there for it. But that's coming. It's still in the works. So, but the other thing you need, if you're building this model, there, see my light fell out again, are these metal plates. Now this one's aluminum, and what I did was I went to a local metal fabricating place with the measurements that come with the files, the 3D files for this print. And I had them, I was able to get 5 of these made up, because I do plan to build more of these in the future. I may build some of them and sell a couple of them, I don't know. I may just put together a kit and do something with that. But it ran me about, I think, $27, $28 a piece. I know I've read somebody was able to get them made online for about $22. I'm not sure if that included shipping or not. But $27 wasn't a bad deal for 5. I got 5 of these made. It cost me, I think, $130, $140 for 5 of them. So I definitely got some of these already lined up for future builds. But everywhere where the plastic attaches to this is epoxied. So I've epoxied these all in place. This is all epoxied in place, and then this top part, oh, there goes my lens. This top part's just CA glued to the rest of it. And you can see I've got had a bit of a gap here, and I had a bit of a piece break off on one of these sides here. I think it was this side, and it's a very tight fit. So I broke a little bit of a piece off, and I had to fix that. So I'm in the process of filling that back in and sanding it and getting it looking right. The great thing about these the Bird of Prey model is, you know what, if it's got some beat up, a bit of a beat up look to it, if it's got some scars, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. You know, the Enterprise, Federation ships, you know, they're all nice and clean and pretty, except for if you're doing battle damage to them. But these Klingon ships, you really don't have to worry about them being so clean so much, because Klingons just didn't care. They don't care about how dirty their ships are. And the only other thing really I've got going on is I'm working on my wings. Here's one of them. They were sliced for me by, God, was it Sean? I can't remember your name, my friend. I am sorry. I will give you proper credit later on. But gentleman on the Facebook page for building this model was nice enough to break this down for me for my machine. I'm hoping to get the M3 Max, so that way I don't have to break these in half. You can print the whole wing as one piece, because I do have a little bit of a seam. Oop, not too bad of a seam, but a little bit of a seam that I'm going to have to work on there, fill in, putty and sand, repeat. So a bit of work to do there still too. Oh, by the way, Starling Tech is the other board I was looking at. Possibly I may go with, because they have the sound effects and the lighting effects that I'm looking for. So but anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do a quick update. I'm getting ready to start working on painting. I've got the neck all assembled now, and I'm ready to, I may have nicked that, may have to fix that, do some sanding, but I'm ready to start painting this and getting some of the other details and start making this come together a little bit more. So hopefully in my next video I'll have a little more progress to show. But that's just an idea of what I've got going on for now. So anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate all the feedback I've been getting and the support. And thank you guys for tuning in. So until next time, keep modeling.